UFC 313 tomorrow night, highlighted by the light heavyweight title fight and Justin Gaethje's return to the octagon. The prelims, they begin at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN News, ESPN Plus, in English and Spanish. The main card begins at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on pay-per-view. To buy the main card, go to espnplus.com/ppv. There he is, our guy, UFC legend Daniel Cormier. DC, happy Friday. Thank you for being with us. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm great, man. Thank you guys for having me as always. And big time fight weekend from Las Vegas, so I'm feeling good. I'm happy.
All right, Let's get it. DC, can you put into perspective just how unbelievable a rise Alex Pereira has had in the UFC in such a short period of time?
You know, it's hard to do that because I remember sitting next to Joe Rogan when he made his debut in Madison Square Garden on the prelims, and Rogan going, this guy's going to change the game. I thought he was just kind of blowing smoke, but he wasn't. The fact that this man is only 12-2, he has been the middleweight champ. He's the light heavyweight champion. He's defended the title, beaten multiple champions. It truly is impossible to put into perspective what he has done. It's almost like saying Magic Johnson, a rookie that takes the team all the way to the NBA championship. That's how important and how big of a deal it is that Alex Pereira has done this in such a short period of time.
DC, always good seeing you, my brother. Is he the biggest box office attraction in the UFC, A? And B, how much is he needed in the UFC at this particular juncture?
You see, Stephen A., that's a great question because Jon Jones is still here, right? And you guys know what happened when he was in New York City. So the rarity in which we see Jones really makes him a bigger attraction. So more people tune in. But in terms of a guy that's consistently here, selling pay-per-views, doing well, Alex Pereira is that guy. The days of Conor showing up and doing it, John showing up are going to end. We need Pereira. Right now, you need this guy, Stephen A. This is a very dangerous matchup. But if you lose Pereira, he is one of the guys that can truly sell out any arena and make people tune in and tap in because of his ability to end fights. So, yes, he is the biggest, most consistent star we have, and we need him as a champion.
Yeah, I was at that fight for the Garden with Jon Jones, which was epic, and I want to stay with him. So if Pereira defeats Ankalaev on Saturday, do you believe moving him up to face Jon Jones for the heavyweight title is next for him? And I also want to mention we had Dana White on the show earlier this week, and he said we should see Jon Jones in June.
Excited to see Jones fight, especially because I think it'll beat Tom Aspinall. But imagine that, Molly. That is the question, that we are talking about a guy that made his UFC debut 4 years ago. We're talking about him possibly winning and going up to challenge Jon Jones for the heavyweight championship. So many people in the history of mixed martial arts have spoken about winning 2 belts, maybe winning 3 belts. It's never been a reality for anyone to possibly do it. This guy barely got here, and we're already talking about him challenging who may be the greatest fighter of all time for the heavyweight title. He's a special talent. We have not seen anyone like Pereira in a long time. And the fact that he doesn't even speak English, he's doing all this based on just his fighting ability. It's crazy. He says chama. He says one word, shama.
Wow. You know, he is special, and I think that, listen, in America especially, we love the knockout. You know that, and that's what he delivers. He'll put you to sleep. Make no mistake about that. I don't know how much of a chance I would give him against John Bones Jones, the greatest ever. I don't know about that, who just invents different ways to beat people. But, DC, I would ask you, what would you want to see? I'm putting you on the spot because I got so much respect and love for you, bro. Who would you rather see? Jones versus Pereira or Jones versus Aspinall?
You know, honestly, I'd like to see Jones versus Aspinall right now for the heavyweight championship.
Because?
But I'm telling you, I am not scoffing at Alex Pereira fighting John Jones, especially if he gets through the challenge this weekend. One of the issues that people anticipate him having with Magomed Ankalaev is his ability to wrestle and take him down. If he shows on Saturday he can defend takedowns, Stephen A., then that statement you made, which is true. John Jones would be massively favored to beat him because of his fighting style. But if he shows this weekend that he can defend takedowns, Stephen A., you might have to reconsider.
I can't believe I'm hearing
Stephen
that from you.
A., I'm telling you, if this dude can defend takedowns,
I'm looking.
he's a problem for everybody.
Hold on, DC. I'm talking to a man right now. You're the expert, not me. I love the sport. I'm learning more and more about it. But I just watch it as a spectator. I'm not the expert you are. Man, you are, but I do know you are a light heavyweight champion and a heavyweight champion.
Yep.
I do know you specialize in taking brothers down with relative ease.
Yes.
I remember when you rolled up on Jake Paul and told him to watch his damn mouth or else while he was in a stand watching a damn fight because he ticked you off. That DC is who I know. And I saw John Bones respectfully take you down. I'm talking about this takedown. I mean, you telling me I need to be worried? I mean, if Pereira shows up this fight and avoids a takedown and avoids takedown, that's something he could do against John Bones Jones.
I'm telling you, Stephen A., the one area that everybody questions is whether or not this dude can stay standing. If he shows that he can stay standing against a Dagestani, you know how high regard we hold these Dagestani wrestlers, the Islam Makhachev, the Khabib Nurmagomedov. If he shows that he can defend that with his striking ability, and Stephen A., hey, we cannot forget your boy, John Jones, about to be 38 years old. Father Time don't stop for nobody, Stephen A. You know that.
Speak for yourself.
He wouldn't fight the John Jones I fought at 27. He would fight a 38-year-old John Jones who's only fought a couple times in the last 4 years.
11 years ago.
Can I pivot, guys?
11 years?
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. Because there's someone else I'm excited to see back in action, DC, Justin Gaethje. He's fighting in the co-main event. The last time we saw him was like just under a year ago when he suffered that devastating loss to Max Holloway. That was UFC 300. DC, I understand you've spoken to Gaethje this week. How's he approaching his first fight since that terrible L?
You know, he took a lot of time away from fighting, which was very smart. So many fighters rush back into the octagon after taking a knockout like that. Justin took the rest of the year off. He took his time. You know, I asked Gaethje once in our personal lives, what do you feel when you go to the octagon? He goes, nothing. I said, Justin, after experiencing what you did, do you still feel you can have that same mentality, knowing how bad it can get? He goes, I anticipate feeling nothing walking to the octagon on Saturday. He seems locked in. He seems ready. But Rafael Fiziev is a monster of an opponent to be coming back to. And Justin just had to relive that. Stephen A., the UFC released the footage of him getting knocked out last year, again this week, from a completely different angle. It was one of the most disturbing, devastating knockouts I've ever seen. Justin says he's fine. I just don't know if there's any lasting.
That's where I was going, DC. Listen, man, I'm a Justin Gaethje fan. I've seen this brother put people to sleep. I know what devastating knockout power he has, okay? But to sit up there and they point to, I'd have never pointed to that mat with Max Holloway because Gaethje was hurt before then, before they started doing that. And I mean, to get knocked out like that, I'm just saying, man, it's like, oh my God. I mean, look at that. And he is out cold. And you know, Bernard Hopkins, former middleweight champion of the world of boxing, said to me, certain knockouts, it takes you years to recover. That's in boxing. Hell, that applies to the UFC. I can't imagine. I don't know how Gaethje can recover from this, DC. I really don't.
Well, he's a different, he thinks on a different wavelength than most. But Stephen A., also the fact that he got knocked out, he's very close to hitting Max with big shots also over the course of that time. But he can only know, right? He can only know once he gets in there. And as fighters, you never believe that it's over. You never believe that the button's been pushed. And Justin feels like he's going to get the job done. Look, he's confident, man. And if there's one thing about the highlight, is if he tells you something, you should believe it. But yes, this is one of the worst knockouts I've seen. And as a friend of Gaethje, it really did hurt me to watch it. But he's back this weekend, and he says he's ready to go.
And your heart is kind of like a tin heart, so that's.
I'll be happy if he just lasts. I ain't gonna lie, Molly. I'll be happy if he just lasts. I'm I'm worried for him.
DC,
I am.
DC,
I like him a lot.
I have to use a thesaurus often on the show because I work with Stephen A. I might have Googled what chama means, the only word you said Alex Pereira uses, and it means let's go in Portuguese, so I like it. He's got a little Tom Brady in him right there. Just wanted to give that translation for the audience so, you know, they could be in on it. Before we let you roll, most underrated fight on the card.
So King Green, the former Bobby Green, is taking on Mauricio Hufi. Mauricio Hufi is this young, exciting Brazilian guy out of the Fighting Nerds in Sao Paulo. And he's taking on King Green, who I've seen beat and fight some of the best fighters in the world. King Green changed his name from Bobby to King because he sees himself as a king walking on this earth, and he's taking on Mauricio Hufi. That's the one for me. It's the first fight on the pay-per-view. It's going to be exciting. That placement is reserved for a massive fight that will bring the fans out of their seat. I cannot believe that this one would not deliver.
A king with 16 losses. Okay.